The very important first step in identifying the ultimate DAM experience for yourself is identifying what setup looks like. There's a lot that goes in the front end and also the back end solution for you. So when sitting down with this checklist with anybody who you're considering for a provider, think about what are basic needs. We've identified 2 of those. And then also think about the ultimate needs that you might need that are a little more custom to possibly suit your needs. And you'll see them again labeled specifically that way on the checklist. So right now, we're going to go through a few demos just to show you how some of these different checklist items can change and be important to the work that you're doing. So for instance, the first one talks about branded UI themes. Now, Greg, I want you to go ahead, and I think he's going to show you what's happening and what can happen with these solutions on a very basic level.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously, here's the main theme. We can switch that to a dark theme. This is all personalized to each individual user under their personal settings. But then we can also switch up here in the corner of the logo. As you can see, here's a version where it's the inter-brand hotel chain logo up in the corner. And what we're talking about in terms of basic functionality, you have to be able to drag and drop files around and select files, as you can see here, just as normally as you're using on your desktop computer. It shouldn't make a difference to you. That needs to be flexible, and that's an obvious. Everybody should have that. One of the other things you might need, though, is a little bit more powerful of a system interface than you might get through just a web portal. Here you've got a view-only UI where people cannot edit documents, they can't delete them, but they can view folders that have been shared exclusively with them. That's something more you would find in an Ultimate DAM. So you see here, all of the folders are shown to Daryl, but for Amelie, she's only seeing the folders relevant to the project that she's been contracted for. These are just examples of the way the flexible layout can be created, the customizable dashboard can be made, everything, in an interface that you need. It really has to be flexible to have it your way. So as you see here, not only is Amelie's dashboard different because she has different things she's keeping an eye on, she's got a different interface. You've got the multilingual interface, so she's seeing it all in French. And I'll switch here to Maria's interface, and you can see Maria's interface is all in Spanish.
Right. And then why is this important to set up? I like to think about this as a user adoption phase. If I have drag and drop capabilities, if I can switch it to a language that is of my native tongue, and if I have the ability to kind of build a dashboard that really speaks to the data that I need to live and breathe in every day, my adoption period will be much shorter. So
that's a good point.
As we've highlighted, some of our providers out there in the industry can take 3 weeks, others can take 3 months or more to really actually get you in the right place technically. Can sometimes be very threatening to the success of the project if there's an urgency to it, to then take another 6 months for our team to adopt the solution. So the more quickly your team can adopt the solution or more adaptable it is, the more success you might be able to find with a solution like this.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just as simple as, can I get a project set up with a set of preset folders? So in our system, folders are simply a hierarchical list, and you can upload any list you want, include those in. And I think that's important for some people, where it's just, I need to hit the ground running every new project. I don't want this to be a start from scratch or copy an old one and delete all the files. It has to be intuitive. It has to just work immediately for you. Look at this. I like to single click my folders to open them.
Sure.
You like to double click your folders.
Always double click.
So, there's an option for that in an interface for Eyebase.
Right.
Other systems might have it too. I think it's important for you to just look, how are people going to adopt this? How are they going to use it? The interface is so important for that.
Let's take a look behind the scenes. User management. Is it easy to access bulk data and do bulk editing? Can you really dive into privacy settings and permissions that you're thinking of that you need and offer users the intuitive and secure login experience?
This is a huge area for people where user management is really the whole reason for this, because certain images should be accessed by certain groups. Are those hierarchical? So a basic DAM, of course, you're going to be able to say these people can see these things, but these people can't see those things. But is that hierarchical? Can you say senior managers always see what the junior managers see, et cetera, and work your way down? The other thing is, do I have to set up all of the users and their accounts and their passwords What if I have employees that leave? How do I protect the system from them? They could be pulling out videos, assets. You don't want that. You want to be able to have that connected to your main system of record where all those users are actively managed. Sometimes that's called LDAP. Sometimes that's a single sign-on or SSO identity management. These are all techie things. You might have a system at your organization for authenticating. We can integrate with that. We've done it for every kind of system out there. That's a really important part of it. So look for a provider that will give you that kind of sophistication so that if you have even just 100, managing the users and passwords for 100 people can be a challenge. And then we want to try to eliminate that when we're picking a digital asset management system.
Now, Greg, if I was Daryl and I was looking for a system, but I already had pre-existing systems that I wanted to integrate or plug in to my solution, what are some of those checkpoints that you're really highlighting here that we should be prepared to talk into and ask about?
Yeah, that's a great point. Integration, this is a world where no software is an island unto itself.
Right.
And so you want to look at the ability to move assets in and out of a digital asset system. Its point isn't to be a standalone island. It's supposed to connect up. And so in a basic system, you should have integrations with things like WordPress. You should be able to go into the media library of WordPress and select assets from your digital asset management system. Any content management system you should have an integration with. That should be a no-brainer for a typical system. Now, an ultimate system would have a more powerful open API so that I can make requests to it. I can even include a saved query in that. We talked earlier about Hotelier Swiss. That API there says to Expedia, go grab these room type images for this room type. Go grab these ones for this hotel, and dynamically 2,500 hotels with hundreds of different rooms. You can imagine all the room pictures that have to sequence up.
Right.
If they make one update in the DAM, all of the systems using the API are connected. So integrations like that, you look for a system that meets your needs. You may not have that level of sophistication, but you should know that at least you have a future that can take you down that path.
Absolutely. And when looking for DAM solutions in the past, I've also found that integrations can be a hidden cost. So be ready to ask into, okay, I have these particular existing solutions I'm using already. I'd like to continue using them. What does it look like to integrate with your DAM solution? Some organizations will do it for free because they understand it strengthens their team. Others will cost an exorbitant amount of money in order to do so. And of course, it's a continuum, so everything will fall in between. But be prepared to ask into that, knowing that it might not be part of the package. Now, Greg, you mentioned having access and security and permissions. And for me, that goes right into a security kind of mindset. So beyond thinking and just knowing that everything stored is going to be stored securely on the cloud, what else should I be looking for for a more ultimate experience?
I think when you're talking about storage, you'll look at different digital asset managers, and I was shocked to see some that actually physically store the assets inside the database. So you have this giant database, totally inaccessible outside of that, the assets not referred to, but actually in it. So you don't want a system like that. Next level would be, can the assets be stored outside of it in the cloud in a secure environment? So that's a given. I think that you're going to find over 90% of systems available, especially in North America, are cloud-based. You don't have to worry about the IT. You don't have to buy servers. You don't have to deal with all of that stuff. And then the next step would be, can I take each of the file formats and put them on different locations? If I have a print shop that I work with, can I put the high-res image right on the servers in that printer? So if I upload it into the system, can the thumbnail go to my web server where I'm looking at it here in Eyebase? Or can the high-res image go straight to the servers right beside the printer who's going to need those assets? He's the only one that really needs them. So why don't we just store them in his network right away from the beginning? The other side of it would be videos. So I might just need in the system here on this server just a preview low-res version of the video just so I can find what I need to find. But the high-res, high-quality video might need to be out on a content delivery network, a CDN. It might need to be out there, and I should be able to still refer to it even though it's not within the local system. The ability to quickly set that up as a number of configurable buttons and features is really important if you're looking for an ultimate dam.